Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Halftime Check podcast. I'm your host, Jonah.
And I'm Thomas. Today we'll be talking about the AP Top 25 rankings for college football, Dick Vitale's rankings for college basketball this season, NFL football, who's going to win the Super Bowl, and how do you think the Jets will do. Also, NBA news, James Harden has called 76ers president a liar. Also, we'll be talking about the college football realignment for all the Pac-12 schools going into the Big 12 and going into the Big 10. And we'll have some MLB stuff and games and hot takes later. But we'll start out with the top 25 rankings for college football. And I'm just going to list them out right here. We got number 1 with Georgia, defending champs. Then number 2, Michigan. 3, Ohio State. 4, Alabama. 5, LSU. 6, USC. 7, Penn State. 8, Florida State. Clemson, number 9. And number 10 is Washington. So we're going to go through 10 each. Let's talk about the top 10 now. What do you think about Georgia at number 1? Back-to-back champions. Can they go for 3?
I really think they can. I mean, they have an elite offense, an amazing defense. The only thing that might be iffy is their new quarterback, Carson Beck. He's a junior, so he's definitely had time. And it's obvious that Stetson Bennett has helped him and has coached him in a way. But I really do think they can. What are your thoughts, Thomas, on if Carson Beck can lead Georgia to a three-peat?
I think he definitely can. I mean, Georgia has defense. They always got that defense. And it'll just depend if he can generate the offense that they need, because their running game is going to be awesome. Their wide receivers, they recruit. They're going to be good. It's just going to depend on if this quarterbacks for this team can show up and end up winning a tough SEC and then getting into that college football playoffs and hopefully win. He does have competition. There's 4 other quarterbacks in that quarterback room. So Carson Beck might have some competition there. But they got Kendon Milton back for running back. And he has the best target for tight end in the whole nation, Brock Bowers, who could be a top 5 pick next year. So I think he is set up for success. Now, at number 2, we have Michigan from Big 12. Not Big 12, Big 10. What do you think about Michigan and Harbaugh, and how can he lead this team to a national championship, maybe, Jonah?
It's going to be a challenge, definitely, with Georgia's elite offense and defense. But they have an easy 4 games. They're playing East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. So you can't really tell how their offense and defense will be off those games. But later in the season, we'll be able to look at it in a brighter light. But I do believe they can make the postseason and go farther.
I think they might struggle on the defensive line. They lost the 4 defensive linemen to the draft, and they might struggle. I think they still have J.J. McCarthy, who is a good quarterback. But it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, they still have J.J. McCarthy. They also have probably the best running back last year, or one of, Blake Corum, who got injured in the last 2 weeks. So they have the running threat. I think it'll depend on their defense. And if they can beat Ohio State and Penn State, they could be set up for a championship run versus this Georgia team that has a non-experienced quarterback. So at number 3, what I was just talking about right there, Ohio State, do you think the Buckeyes can make a push after losing C.J. Stroud?
The Buckeyes always make a push, but the biggest question is their quarterback, as you said. They believe they have the best defensive line in the nation. But the ends, JT Tumalio and Jack Sawyer, former top 5 national recruits, must find consistent excellence in their playmaking abilities. But their coach, Ryan Day, thinks he has found another quarterback after CJ Stroud. But I want to hear your opinion on this, Thomas.
Well, the quarterbacks, you already know. They got Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. People are saying that Devin Brown's an underdog, which I get. He's a sophomore. He's from Arizona. He can play in the heat. He has only played 1 down. He has been in the game not long, Kyle McCord has actually done stuff. He has passed for some yards. He has been in games. And that might be the decision. He has more experience, even though it's not a lot of experience. He's more experienced than other guys. So we'll see. Quarterback, they're always going to be good, though. They got running back Trayvon Henderson. They always get good wide receivers in their roster. They can recruit really well. Ryan Day is just really good at recruiting. And it'll be a tough Big Ten because they have to play Michigan and Penn State, like always. But I think they can do it. They can win. And if they, like I said with Michigan, if they can beat Penn State and Michigan, they can have a chance at beating Georgia. I mean, they have Emeka Igagbaka, who is a wide receiver, and he could be a top 10 pick. So they have weapons. It'll just be quarterback issues just like Georgia.
And coming in at number 4, we have Alabama. Same issues as Ohio State. They lost their star quarterback. He went first in the draft, first round, Bryce Young. But who will take his spot? There are 2 backups, Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, that could. Or could it be the Notre Dame transfer, Tyler Buchner? Thomas, who do you think Alabama's new quarterback will be?
So they had Jalen Monroe, which he has played. And he's a fast guy. Like, he is strong and he's fast and he's quick. He can run really well. He played last year when Bryce Young was hurt, I think. So he will be probably the guy, I would think. I mean, they have Ty Simpson, as he said. He's a freshman, though. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to do anything. They also have a guy that played versus Ohio State in his first game of his career. Ty Butchler, is that what it is? I think that's how you say it. He's good. So I think it'll be Jalen Monroe or Tyler Buchner. And they're both really good. And they have backs. They have backs returning. They have running backs returning in Jason McClellan and Rodway Williams. So they have people. They have the quarterback and they have running backs. And it'll just be interesting if their defense is always going to show up with Kool-Aid, McKinstry. This team is going to be good. It'll be, can they beat Georgia? And can they beat these tough teams? Like the next one right here.
I'm going to have to disagree with you.
You're going to disagree.
I don't think it would be Jalen Milroe. I think it's Tyler Buchner. He knows what it's like to be a starter. He has more statistics to back it up. And he's just overall a more well-rounded player than Jalen Milroe.
Even though Jalen Milroe, he played for Alabama.
He did, which will give him a head start from a transfer. But he's been blinded by Bryce Young. And yes, Bryce Young, as I said about Stetson Bennett, could have taught the old backups. But I still believe Tyler Buchner has what it takes to be a starter, because he already has been, for a great team, Notre Dame. What do you think?
I mean, I can see it happening, but I think that they'll go with the athletic guy. They don't really... He has the passing abilities and he can run. So I think they'll go with Jalen Monroe. I mean, he's been here. Tyler Buchanan or whatever, he got benched. So sure, he might have experience, but he didn't do well because he got benched at Notre Dame. They ended up losing some games. Now, I was saying Alabama will have to play tough teams in the SEC this year, and in the next 2 years or next year when Texas and Oklahoma joins, it'll be even tougher. So can they get over that hump and beat Georgia and at number 5, LSU?
I believe they can. I mean, Alabama's always been a powerhouse, and you just don't really see a season where Nick Saban doesn't show up. I mean, even if they don't win the glory, because there's amazing teams. I mean, Georgia went 15-0 last year. As we're talking, could be a three-peat. I mean, there's just so many great teams in college football to watch that it's hard to just pick one and say they're going to win it. But I do believe they can beat the LSU Tigers. What do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, so LSU is at 5, and they have Jaden Daniels, who is kind of like Jalen Monroe, except he has played. So he's going to be the starter, almost for sure. And he's really athletic. I think they led LSU beat Alabama last year or something like that. They beat them in the past couple years. They have played really, really well. LSU, everybody, they got recruits, they got people. I think they can win. Like, they beat Alabama last year. They beat Ole Miss last year. Sure, they lost to Tennessee. Sure, they lost to Georgia by 20, but they beat Purdue 63-7. Like, this team is athletic. This team is right there. They will get this done, and I'm not sure about this number 5 ranking right now because they haven't proven anything. I think they'll be top 10 at the end of the season. I don't know about number 5, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I like how you said Purdue instead of Purdue, but I do believe their opener will be very hard, playing the Florida State Seminoles. I mean, that game will just go right off the bat, winner or loser. I mean, definitely a tight game. That's what I'll be watching.
And they have an easier schedule this year. They always got to play Bama. They have to play Texas A&M, and they have to play Mississippi. And otherwise, from Florida State, I don't see anybody ranked. And I think it's going to be an easy year. They don't have to play Georgia. And I don't think they have to play No, they do have to play Arkansas. So Arkansas, that might be a tough game. And Florida might be a tough game. But otherwise, I think they can cruise and maybe only lose 2, at most, probably 3 games. But I think they can cruise the season and get top 10.
Moving on to USC Bronny's College. Wrong sport, but St. James. We will see USC in September. Caleb Williams have garnered plenty of headlines since the season finished. All eyes are understandably on the Trojans' defense the first month. Just questionable defense. Thomas, what's your take?
Well, I mean, they got the best quarterback. Other than Drake May, nobody's close to Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams is really, really freaking good. He is going to be the Heisman probably. Last season, they lost to Tulane in their bowl, and it's because of their defense. I mean, Caleb Williams, I think he put up 42 or something. He had 42 touchdowns and 5 interceptions last year. And, I mean, this team is really talented. They got all the recruits. Because, hey, who doesn't want to play for Lincoln Riley, who's a really good coach? So it'll be interesting to see how he does. I know Caleb Williams, they're gonna get 10 wins at least in a weak Pac-12 that only has Utah, UCLA, and Oregon and Washington. They can get some easy dubs here. I mean, they lost to Tulane last year in their bowl, 46-45, and it obviously wasn't because of Caleb. And their offense is going to be awesome. They did lose Jordan Addison, who is the wide receiver. He went to the Vikings in the first round, so they might not have as much weapons, but they did recruit. They got people like Mason Cobb from Oklahoma State. He's a linebacker. They also got Bear Alexander and Kyron Bars from Georgia. And then they also got Christian Roland Wallace from Arizona. So they stacked up on this defense. This defense should be way better from last year. I could see them making that push to be in the Final Four and to be in that college football playoff.
Next, we have number 7, Penn State. Now, Penn State's a really questionable team, especially with who will be their starting quarterback. I think it'll be Drew Aller. What are your thoughts, Thomas?
I totally agree. Drew Aller has been there, done that. They're not going to hand it over to a freshman unless if he struggles. But they have the running back. Like, they have the they have 2 awesome running backs, Singleton, and another guy, get his name. But they both, rush for almost 1,000 yards. They're really, really good at running the ball. Yeah, Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. They're both really good. They both are going to help out this new QB, and the defense is always going to be good. So if they beat Ohio State and Michigan, like I'm saying for the Michigan and Ohio State, they have to win versus Penn State and each other. And if Penn State beats both of them, then they can win. And they can be in that top 4. What do you think about that, Jonah?
I'm going to have to disagree with that. I don't think Penn State can make it to the top 4.
Why not?
Look at the teams ahead of them.
Yeah, but if they beat Ohio State and Michigan, they can easily make it. They can be in that spot.
But that's an if. No one's going to beat Ohio State, nonetheless Michigan. I mean, it's just a big question, and I don't think Penn State's ready to take it on just yet. I think they could be contenders maybe in a year or 2 because there are 2 quarterbacks that are under contention for who will win, or for who will win the starting job, is a freshman and a sophomore. I mean, that's just unheard of in college to have an underclassman being your starting quarterback. But I I'm gonna have to disagree entirely with you. Maybe in a couple seasons when their quarterbacks have a better mindset for the game, have more IQ. Not saying they're not good quarterbacks, but compared to other quarterbacks, I just don't think they're up to that level yet.
That standard, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they also have to play Iowa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll have 3 tough games. Maybe Michigan State can put up and try to ruin their season. At the end of the season, they have to play them last game. At number 8, Florida State Seminoles.
Now, this is a shocker to me. I think they should be maybe a little higher, maybe even higher than Penn State and USC.
I don't know. Well, USC should be top
just
5. I don't know why they should have put LSU lower, and I feel like Florida State should be higher. That is definitely what I would do right now, because this is like we going with top 10 teams right now. We're just looking at them. We'll go on to the bottom, the 10 to 20 next. But right now, through the top 10, what I've seen is Florida State. They should be higher than Penn State. I agree with you. They should not be higher than USC. I think Florida State at 6, USC at 5. At LSU, LSU should be at 8, and Penn State should be at 7 still. And then the top 4, I think, should stay the same. What do you feel with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. But I agree. Florida State should be higher. USC, I'm a little more iffy on, but let's look at number 9, the Clemson Tigers. We've talked endlessly about the hire of the offensive coordinator Garrett Riley and what he will do for their offense. But let's look at their defense. I mean, it's not bad. It's probably one of the better than
most of the teams in the ACC. The ACC is weak, and
yes.
It's just them and Florida State.
Yeah,
and they have a quarterback who has played. He has played. He played last season, threw for 700 yards. He's scored a total of 4 touchdowns, and he had 3 picks. It'll depend on whether whether we do Clemson, and whether Clemson just rolls on and can handle the ACC.
Let's go and look at number 10, the Washington Huskies. I personally think they should be ranked a little lower. I mean, just look at the Texas Longhorns. They're number 11. I think they should be ranked higher. The record might not show it, but I believe they have the coaching staff and the players to do it. But let's talk about the Huskies. The Huskies' offense will be explosive. I mean, I'm talking top 5 in the country on offense. But their defense doesn't really show much. What are your thoughts, Thomas?
Yeah, Washington, I don't like this rating at all. They should be way lower. I don't even think they should be this high. They should be like 15, 20.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
They should, lower. And I don't feel like in a weak Pac-12, I don't think they should be top 10. They're not going to play as many good games. So I don't think they should be top 10, and I definitely shouldn't think they'd be above like Texas. So now we're just gonna skim through these 11 to 25, and if we're just gonna talk about a couple that are some interesting rankings, and we'll probably fix some also. We'll give you our fixed rankings at the end of this. So number 11, Texas, obviously. They got Quinn Ewers, quarterback. Number 12 is Tennessee, after almost being in that conversation for that championship after losing Georgia that knocked them down to 5 last season. They have Joe Milton III coming off as their quarterback for Notre Dame.
Now this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Number 13, I mean, the paper shows it all. Like, stats on paper shows it all. They should not be number 13. They're 9-4. Their quarterback, who maybe it was their backup, transferred to Alabama, was it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they got Sam Hartman. They got the transfer Sam Hartman from Wake Forest. He is gonna make a difference. He will
make a difference. Yes.
He's going. I don't know about 13 just yet, but that they always like Notre Dame, so why not for the ESPN rankings or whatever.
For number 14, Utah.
They are just the most solid team like ever. Like I feel like they're gonna be way better than Washington.
Definitely.
I don't think that at number 15 we got Oregon. Oregon should be better than Washington. Like these teams are better than Washington. I don't know what's the Washington hype. They're
Number 16.
not gonna be good. At number 16 we got Kansas State. I mean,
Can't go wrong with that.
I mean, they're just like
Good
a decent
selection.
team. They got the transfers, they got the recruitment, and it'll be interesting because they lost Deuce Vaughn, who's really good. But it'll be cool how it will lay out. And at number 17, another Big 12 team, TCU.
Now this is a
They
shocker.
got second. They got second.
Last year, but they lost their players, putting them down to number 17. Now, this is almost unheard of in the world of sports, nonetheless college. Dropping 15 spots is just unheard of.
And yeah, this happened for the basketball. This happened to San Diego State also. So two teams that got second place, but they didn't. All their guys left. So their quarterback left, their top wide receiver left, their top cornerbacks left, and their running back left. And then we go to 18, Oregon State, and they got the Clemson transfer, DJ Iguodala, and he's really, really good. I think he's gonna become a star at Oregon State in the Pac-12, yeah. Even though Pac-12 is gonna fall apart, I think he's gonna become a star.
Now, number 19 and 20 are very inconclusive in the fact of paper analytics. Number 19, we have the Wisconsin Badgers, who last year went 7-6, and then the Oklahoma Sooners, who went 6-7 last year, a losing record to say. But I mean, we'll see if they can pick it up. Many people are enraged in this fact of how they ranked them, but we'll see this year.
So this is like they're not gonna. The only reason they put these guys up here, it wasn't because of last year's performances. It was because they got all the transfers. Oklahoma Sooners, they finished up 22nd out of 131 teams in defense. So what they do, they got 6 transfers for the D-line. This is why they're up here, because they're getting transferred. They're getting a quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, who's returning. And I think Oklahoma can make a run right now. And I think they can be better than TCU and Kansas State if the transfers and the recruitments all go to plan and they can figure out what's going to go on. For Wisconsin, I just don't get it at all. I don't see them here. And I think they're going to struggle this year. So 21-22, we got North Carolina, who has the second best quarterback in all of football. And then we got Ole Miss Rebels. Two teams I feel like they'll be here at the end of the season. They'll be in the 20s range, maybe 15 at the highest. But North Carolina, they have Drake May. He's really good. Ole Miss, they, like all other teams on this list, they get recruitments, they get transfers with the NIL. And they're going to make some improvements. Just like another team in the SEC, Texas A&M, who had a 5-7 record. But guess what? They have the most NIL money. They spend money on football, and they're going to have some easy games to start out, like Austin Peay, Louisiana Monroe, Auburn, Arkansas, Miami. I think they can win all 5 of these games, to be honest, if they just put together a good run. What do you think about number 24, though, at Tulane?
Well, number 24, I mean, you can't rank Tulane too high, but I believe they ranked Tulane too low in the fact as they should be they should be below 24 ranking wise. I mean, they went 12-2 last year, and they're keeping their linebacking duo Nick Anderson and Dorian Williams. I mean,
no, they're not keeping them. They lost them to the draft.
Oh yeah, both are being set to play.
So that's maybe why they dropped them. Maybe
I read that wrong. My apologies. But yes, they will see who will take their spots. I mean, but nonetheless, you need a quarterback that has great playmaking abilities, as we have talked about in these podcasts.
Just like Michael Pratt, she's a guy. And then, last but not least, my team, the Iowa Hawkeyes, at 8-5 last year, they sneak into the 25 spot. That's so deserving, bro. They're gonna have top 5 defense just like last year. Second defense last year. Their offense was total crap. But this year they got Cade McNamara, transfer from Michigan, who led them couple years ago, and they also got tight end
Eric
All
and wide receiver Caleb Brown.
So this team is going to be good, and I could see them cracking top 10 if we win the games that we're supposed to win. I mean, this year our schedule is not even going to be that bad. I mean, right now we have Utah State. The hardest games we're going to have to play against is Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Penn State. I feel like we can go 12-0 in this record. But we're not because we're Iowa. So we're probably going to go 9-3 like always.
Moving on from the rankings, let's look at the realignment of the college football conferences. I mean, this is insane. Just to see the Pac-12 turn into just a speck of dust.
Apart. Just falls apart. Falls apart totally.
And a historic conference just going away. I mean, the Big Ten is getting Washington, USC, UCLA, and Oregon. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Big Ten got the teams that they wanted. Big 12, they got Colorado, Arizona State, and Utah. And then also they got those teams because in the SEC grabbed out Oklahoma and Texas.
Two powerhouses.
This will all be going on next year, I think. After this football season, we'll be into where there's no Pac-12 because Oregon State right now is struggling to find a place to go. Stanford struggling to find a place to go. California, and also Washington State. I think California and Stanford, they are getting offers from the ACC right now, but the ACC, some of the teams just don't want to travel from East Coast to West Coast. I think those teams are like Clemson, NC State, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Or not South Carolina, I think it's SEC. But some schools in that area, because they don't want to travel. And I totally get that, but it'll be tough to find that going on right now. Tough to find new spots. Maybe Mountain West could have them. But Big 12, they got everybody. They got so many teams. They got UCF, and they also grabbed some other teams like Cincinnati and Houston. So, and BYU. So, Big 12, they're losing 2 and they're getting 8. So, that might make up for the powerhouses like Texas and Oklahoma. And Big 10, they lose nobody. And, yeah.
They gained 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's just getting more money except Pac-12. The only reason Pac-12 fell apart was because of the money. Their TV deal ran out. So, yeah. And now we get to look at Dick Vitale's top 25 basketball for this year, and then we'll have some takes on our own teams. Me like in Villanova and Iowa, and then Jonah over here like in Creighton.
I mean, I don't see Villanova, or I do, but I don't see Iowa in this, Thomas. It's okay though. I mean, at number 1 we have Kansas Jayhawks. Now, no surprise here. I mean, they got their recruits. They got the
top guy in 2024.
Top guy. I mean, yeah. At number 2, we have the Duke Blue Devils. I mean, we're going to see how their coaching will pan out after losing Coach K.
Okay, yeah.
But, I mean, their new coach played for Duke. I mean, I believe he has what it takes, but it might take him a couple seasons. I don't see how Duke can be ranked this high, but you never know.
They got back to bring guys though, so that's the only reason that I can see this is because Kyle Filipowski or whatever his name is, that big guy, he's really, really good.
What are your thoughts on the Purdue Boilermakers?
Okay, so I actually really hate the Purdue, but they had the best guy in college football, Zach Edey. He is literally like 7 foot.
College football or basketball?
Basketball.
Okay.
Sorry, did I say football?
Yeah.
My bad. So 7'1", he's a beast. And
center.
Yeah, he's a center, and he just is a beast. So that is if last year they lost to a 16 seed, so hopefully they can return to what they were, which was a 1 seed. So it'll be interesting, though. They have to put good pieces around him.
Now, at number 4, this is a surprise. Michigan State Spartans. I mean, I believe they should be ranked lower, as in up, above 4. I mean, UConn's below them. That's just crazy. I honestly think Marquette, Houston, and Creighton, maybe even Gonzaga, could be ranked better than them. What are your thoughts?
I totally disagree with you because they got 3 5-stars, and they also have the best backcourt. They have Tyson Walker and Malik Hall. So those two are going to start off carrying the team. Then the 5-stars are going to come in, and they're going to be awesome. I think they could win this year. So I don't know what you're talking about, but I guess we have different opinions because at number 5,
The former champions.
UConn in the Big East. They got back Tristan Newton, their point guard, last year. They did lose the bucket that they had. What was his name? Hankins. He was a bucket. So they might not have as many people as last year who can score. It'll be interesting. They still have a 7-foot guy, Donovan Clingan, who came off the bench last year. So they have people, they have guys, and they can still play.
They have an arsenal.
Yeah, they got recruitment. They lost some of their guys though, so it's gonna be way different from last year, where they had scores like Adama Sugno, who scored like 17 a game. They also had Jordan Hankins, and they also had Andre Jackson Jr. All of them, they lost to the draft. They recovered. They got some people on the bench who can play, and they can play good. So I think they can come together. I don't think they can repeat, but I think they'll be on top of the Big East, maybe by Marquette, Creighton.
Moving on to the most overrated college basketball team to ever live, the Marquette Golden Eagles. I mean,
what do you mean?
They were the first. They got the first seed, but they didn't produce.
First seed?
They didn't produce in the.
They got the 3 seed, right?
March Madness. I believe they got the first seed in there.
No, they got 3.
They got 3.
Yeah,
just proves how bad they are.
Or no, they got 2 and they lost.
2.
Yeah. But dude, they got like everybody bad. They got the best point guard probably. I feel like Tyler Kolek. He's really good. I don't agree with you that.
And number 7,
Houston. They got L.J. Cryer and Damian Dunn. They got the recruits, and they are coming back for blood because they lost last year, and they want it real bad.
Yeah.
So watch out for those Cougars.
At number 8, we have the best team in college basketball.
Overrated.
The Creighton Blue Jays, baby. Creighton Blue Jays lost some of their players, but it's fine. We still have Kalkbrenner, Shireman, the walking bucket himself. I mean,
and you got Alexander back, but you did
got
lose
Trey Alexander, Nembhard.
their point guard.
But Nembhard went to the team below us.
Creighton should be Creighton should be right there at 25. They shouldn't even be top 10. They're so
Sorry,
bad.
I don't see Iowa on this ranking.
Hey, I like Villanova, baby. I like both of those.
Moving on, and the team that Ryan Nembhard went to, the point guard himself, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I mean, they lost, 50 to, what was it, last year in March Madness. I mean, they lost, I think, about by 20, 30. They will have some good players in their recruits.
Yeah, they lost by 30.
Yeah, they lost by 30 last year to UConn, I believe. The champions, which does say, hey, we're here to play, but also...
But they're in a bad division, so they're going to make it into March. They're going to make it into March Madness.
When do they not?
Yeah, because they just want basketball to be really good, so they're not going to make any money going to the Pac-12 potentially or any good divisions, so then they can play good people. But sure, let's just make the March Madness and maybe win, which I don't think they will because they don't have the roster to do it. They got some people back like Bolton, Hickman, and they also got Hunter Sallis from Omaha and Ifton Reed III from like Richmond. So they got some good recruits from Caden Perry from Battleground, Kellen Mitchell from Spring Lake. They got some people all over. They got some California kids. They got a Nebraska kid. They got an Oregon kid. They got Washington kid, Illinois kid, and they can play. So if their recruits get good, then they got something.
And the last team in the top 10, the Tennessee Volunteers. I mean, I really don't see them as a team to be worried about, especially as a Creighton Blue Jays fan. I don't see any team to be worried about as a Creighton Blue Jays fan, but I believe they could have been ranked maybe a little lower on the list, as in worse. But we're just going to skim through 11 through 25. At 11, though, let's look at this. The Florida Atlantic Owls. I mean,
they got into the Final Four.
They got into the Final Four. They proved themselves, even though they're in a division that isn't very good.
They got everybody back, so watch out. They can
Mainly
be the
because they
champions.
couldn't go to the NBA, but still they could be champions. Watch out.
It's college. You maybe you can't go to the NBA, but you can for sure win a championship.
I do believe the Florida Atlantic Owls could be ranked higher on the list, as in better. We'll just skim through this. The Arizona Wildcats, good ranking. Kentucky Wildcats, good ranking.
Kentucky's gonna get DJ Wagner, top recruit. He's the best.
And then we have the Arkansas Razorbacks. Some might be a little hesitant on this, but I believe it's a good rating. The North Carolina Tar Heels, though, I mean, they didn't prove themselves in March Madness, although they did in the regular season.
They didn't even make it.
Yeah, they didn't even make it, although they did prove themselves 2 seasons ago, I believe, 2021, which doesn't matter in hindsight. But I do believe with the recruits they've gotten, they could maybe at best be 12 to 11-10. We have...
Yeah, they got people, though, so they watch out for them. Even though Caleb Love left, watch out, because they are good. So they still got Baycott, they still got RJ Davis, those two from New York and Virginia. They're right there. They're getting players, and they got some people back. So watch out for them. They might make a big impact. At 16, though, we got Miami.
I believe they should have been ranked better.
Yeah, they made it to the Final Four.
Final Four.
Nigel Pack or something.
Mm-hmm.
Pack, he's really, really good. So watch out for him. He's going to be there. And after that, it's going to be Texas A&M with Wade Taylor IV, who is a walking bucket, to be honest.
And at number 18, we have the overrated Wildcats.
Best.
I mean, the Villanova
Wildcats.
The best.
The best.
And at
They
19,
are the best. Villanova getting recruits, baby. They got people from Washington State. They got people from Liberty. They got people from all over, and they're all ready to play for the Wildcats. They got Justin Moore back. They got Eric Dixon back. They got Brandon Slater back. Watch out for the Villanova Wildcats. They could be champions.
And at number 19, the runner-ups. Just like we saw in the college football rankings, they dropped tremendously. In college football, they dropped by 15. Right here, they dropped by 17.
San Diego State.
They lost lots of their good players to the draft, but there's not much you can say. A great defensive team, just need that offense to push in. Next, we have the USC Trojans. Thomas, do you think Bronny James will redshirt, or do you think he will prove himself this year in college?
So, either he's going to redshirt or he's going to play like 10 minutes a game, maybe get a few buckets a game. I don't think he can make a huge impact this first year, so I would go with the redshirt. Mm-hmm. But, again...
Because when you redshirt, you still can play a few games.
Yeah, but no, you can't.
Yeah, if you redshirt, you can play still, like, some. There's, like, league minimum.
Then, honestly, if I were him, I would just get better.
Work on the mechanics.
Play the game, just like play against opponents that are college level. He's a really good defender, and he just
not Cam Wilder's team.
He needs to work on that's Bryce James, even though.
AU.
And then 21, they got Baylor. Baylor has lost some guys. I said earlier,
easy
Houston,
division.
What do you mean? Big 12's busting right now.
Yeah, but they're always gonna make it.
Yeah. They got recruits. They lost LJ Kryler, what I said earlier, to Houston. It'll be tough. They're gonna make it, like Jordan said. I don't think they're gonna go far though. I think they'll be like a 6-7 seed, maybe 5 seed at best.
Let's skim through these three: St. Mary Gales at 22, Texas Longhorns at 23, and the Colorado Buffaloes at 24. But what's really shocking to me are the St. John's Red Storm. I mean, they were horrible last year. Yes, they might have gotten recruits, but I believe it's too early for them to make a run and too early for them to be ranked top 25. What are your thoughts, Thomas?
Now, I don't agree with you totally. Just because they got the coach and people want to play for Rick Pitino. Also, why'd we skim over St. Mary's?
Because they're not good.
They make Gonzaga battle. They're the only team makes Gonzaga battle. And Texas and Colorado, they're going to be decent. I don't think they're going to do anything. But, yeah, that's our top 25 list. I don't know why I wasn't in it. Probably because they stink, which for basketball is so true. And now...
Oh, he admits it.
Now, we're going to talk about some NFL football.
NFL football.
Yesterday, we talked about the preseason quarterbacks. Now we're going to talk about how will the Jets do with Aaron Rodgers.
The
what
veteran
do you think?
quarterback. Now, I believe he still has it in the tank. I mean, yes, he's 39 years old, but what has Aaron Rodgers not proved to the fan base? Nothing. He's done everything he can. Does he have a ring?
Yeah, he has two,
He has 2 rings. I mean, yes, you can hate on what he says, what he thinks, what he's done, but you can't hate on his play style. It's amazing, unlike no other. Yes, he might be 39, but I'd still take him over Justin Fields any day of the week.
Well, Justin Fields isn't on that track yet, but no, Aaron Rodgers has won 1 championship, so he knows how to do it.
Championship. He knows
And
how
the
to do
Jets
it.
have their defense is cracked. They got Sauce Gardner. He is him. Watched Hard Knocks, and their defense is legit. And they also got the best wide receiver from last class, Garrett Wilson. So this is going to be interesting, and I think that the Jets will be very, very good. They'll be in contention in a tough AFC East, but every game's going to be a battle. So everybody's going to want to be down on them because Aaron Rodgers is there. They're going to have to play versus the Bills twice, the Dolphins twice, and the Pats twice. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I think they can do it. And Aaron Rodgers, even though he takes weird stuff for COVID medicine, he is really good at football. So outside of his life, football's it. He's really good. And I think they can do very well. Next, another quarterback who changed teams, except not this year, but last year, we got Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson last year was absolutely dog crap. That's the definition of Russell Wilson last year. And his team was really, really bad for some reason. And probably because of the horrible quarterback play, the offensive line wasn't good. He literally threw for 3,500 yards. He threw 11 interceptions and had 16 touchdowns. That's the lowest amount of touchdowns in his career. So, do you think that the Broncos can pop back and win?
I don't.
I mean, they have the Chiefs. Really just don't see it. I mean, people are saying they can make the playoffs. I just don't see it at all.
I believe the Broncos can't. I mean, they're getting sauced up by the Arizona Cardinals in preseason. Safe travels, Broncos. And that MFer back there is not real. That's what the Arizona Cardinals to the Denver Broncos. I don't believe they have it. They're getting sauced up in preseason. They're getting taunted. I just believe this will go against him, and I don't believe they have what it takes to be a real contender.
They have to play the Chargers
playoffs.
also. Yeah, I mean, they have a tough division, except the Raiders. They have 2 easy wins.
Yeah.
And then we got who's going to win the Super Bowl, John? Who is going to be in that contention? I feel
there's many great
we got
teams.
the Chiefs in the AFC. We got a bunch of teams from the AFC East. We got the Dolphins who can win, Bills who can win, the Bengals obviously can win, and also the Jets, Chiefs, maybe even Chargers.
The Chargers, I think they can make a run at it.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. There's some sneaky Ravens. The AFC's loaded, to be honest.
I forgot to say this yesterday, but I'd like to ask you a question about the NFL. Do you believe that Matthew Stafford still has what it takes to be a contender or even a subpar quarterback?
He can be a subpar quarterback. He can be that, but
he's on a downward incline.
His team sucks.
His team is horrible.
So he's not going to get any help. It's just going to be him and Cooper Kupp, and they're not going to do anything this year. So that's that. Like, he's gonna be a decent quarterback, and that's that because he's just old. I mean, he's still good, but his team around him is not good. So that's that. So in the NFC, who do you think can win that? So you got Eagles, you got the Cowboys, you got the Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Seahawks, and then you got in the
Is Jimmy G still with the
NFC.
49ers?
No, Jimmy G's on
he's
the
on
Raiders.
Yes, no, I believe this is an easy win for the Eagles. I mean,
I think it's gonna come down to Eagles, 49ers again, maybe even Lions. The Lions are right there.
Lions.
I'm gonna go in the championship, Eagles
Yeah.
versus Dolphins.
Championship? I'm gonna go
Eagles.
Bengals. Are they in the same? Can they play the Eagles? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not in the same.
Oh,
They're
not
in
the
the AFC, so they would meet in the Super Bowl.
Okay. So, yeah, I'd say Bengals versus Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because
I mean-
I feel like the Chiefs, they were there, but I don't like the Chiefs anymore because they won too much. So we got to give it to someone different. And I feel like the Chargers cannot get past the Chiefs. The Bills can't get past the Chiefs. I think the Jets might lose to the Dolphins in the championship.
Yep.
Or no, the Jets are going to lose the Bengals. I feel like the Bengals are going to lose to the Dolphins. Dolphins just have quick and fast Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So we will see about that at the NFL season. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's preseason right now. We'll talk more about the NFL once it starts. Preseason is just preseason right now. We're in the middle week, so we'll see about that. But right now, we got some interesting news about the NBA. James Harden has
Speaking out
called
against the
his
76ers president.
76ers president a liar. He did it at like a conference or something. He was standing in the middle of court, and he just said it like over and over again. It's just like,
And obviously this is
dang,
about,
bro, like, wow.
And obviously this is about the trade request from the 76ers. I mean, they want a championship. They don't want to leave second round exit like they always do. And I can see why, but there's no room for that type of talk against your team.
And he doesn't want to be there, obviously.
yeah, and
So
they don't want him either.
I've put up a couple of
Teams he can go to.
teams he can go to and some trades that can happen. So first, as Jonah said yesterday, even though I don't think this will happen, it's an interesting package, and I think this is not going to happen at all. But hey, if he wants to reunite with the OKC Thunder, this could be a package to get it there. So 76ers are trading away Harden, and obviously Daniel House Jr., who is absolutely trash. He stinks. And they're getting back Lou Dort, who's a great defender. And they're also getting Jalen Wills, who is a starter. He's really good. He's a good rebounder. He has talent. And that's what Philadelphia wants, maybe if they don't want to go for the championship this year. They're also getting 3 firsts and a second. Do you think Philadelphia would want that as a deal? Even though I don't think OKC would offer that. But do you think that's a good deal, Jonah?
I do. I mean, if I was in the front office of the 76ers, I could care less about Harden, and I want to keep Embiid. I want Embiid. So if I get those 3 first-round draft picks with Embiid, I could use that. That potentially could be 4 players on the court that know what they're doing, know how to handle situations.
And have all young and talented, except Embiid, who is not young, but he's still
Talented.
He's talented, and he's still in his 20s, I
What
think.
are your thoughts, Thomas?
So this is a good trade for both teams. But again, I don't think OKC doesn't want a 33-year-old James Harden. So it was a good idea for you, and I just put this together real fast, but real quick before we went on the podcast. And I really just feel like the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, they could do this. But again, OKC does not want to steal and get James Harden, a 33-year-old who might just retire in 2 years. They don't want to pay him that much bag. They already have young guys.
Yeah.
I would
And they're a young team. They don't want to mess that up.
They don't want to mess up and have Harden be like the load, because they have Shea, they have Chet. So I don't think that one would work for OKC, even though the package looks really good. So another team, I put 2 more. We got Philadelphia trading Harden for 3 firsts and a second, or in 2 seconds, to Houston. Houston has a lot of young players, just like OKC, but they're open to it. Like, they signed Dylan Brooks. They signed Fred VanVleet. They need a presence there. I mean, honestly, or try to get rid of Dylan Brooks to China as soon as possible because he's
The Shanghai
really,
Sharks.
yeah, he's really bad, and I don't know why they played
If
Fred
you don't
VanVleet,
get
but
40 points, I can't respect you.
I mean, anybody can drop 40 against Dylan. So 3 firsts and a second, 2 seconds. Do you think Philly? I feel like Philly just wants their hands off of James Harden. I would take this if I were Houston and Philly, because you get picks, you get future. What do you think, Jonah?
This one I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I mean, you said Philly just wants to get their hands off of Harden. They don't. They want to get their hands off of Harden and trade it with a big bag of money or players. They want something out of it, and if they don't get something out of it,
Those are picks. They got the picks.
Yes, but if they don't get something out of it, they know that they don't care. They don't care. They'll keep him for all they care, because Philadelphia is not a contender.
Yes, they
Philadelphia's
are.
not
They're
a
in the
contender.
playoffs.
Yeah, second round exit contender.
But they're still in a contender each year.
Yeah.
So it'll. I don't know.
What's your next pick?
I don't know what you're talking about right here.
What's your next pick?
Clippers.
Paul George and
Kawhi,
Leonard.
and Russell Westbrook and Harden, the 4 superstars. Clippers trade away Terrence Mann, who's a bucket, and Jason Preston, and also 3 first-round picks for Harden. I think this could work. If they want Harden out of their hands, they just don't want him at all, then I can see that going on right now. I see that, and I probably would accept that for if I'm Philly, you get 3 first-round picks and you get 2 talented guys, and I would accept that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd accept that. I'd accept that within a heartbeat. I believe it is a great trade, and for the Clippers mainly, I mean, you get
4 superstars.
4 superstars, and you can be a great contender. Now, I have a trade for myself. I believe a great trade could be to the Kings, as I said yesterday. It would be James Harden for Malik Monk, but it's James Harden and Philip Petrusev, who's a young player just like Malik Monk. He's 23. Malik Monk is 25. And you could transition, as I said
You're trading
yesterday,
James Harden for Malik Monk?
James Harden and Philip Petrusev.
But is
And
the Kings giving draft picks or something? Because Malik Monk is like a bench player, Jonah.
I'd say that no draft picks. Malik Monk is a young player. You can transform him. And that's what the 76ers need, young players.
Nah, that's horrible. That's bad. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I believe they can do that. And I believe
they gotta add some picks on it. I can see Malik Monk.
Maybe Harrison Barnes.
Malik Monk, no, this trade I see you. Malik Monk, Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and a pick. And that's fair.
Yeah.
Those 3 players in like a
pick,
first, maybe in a second. I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair.
I believe the best pick for the Kings, or for James Harden, would be the Kings. Because as I said yesterday, James Harden, he is not a point guard. He's not built like one. He had to transition into one. He's a shooting guard at heart. Maybe even a power forward.
Power forward?
Or small forward.
Nah, he's not that tall. He ain't that tall.
But he's not a point guard. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our games of the day to wrap up this podcast.
So we got
some blind
rankings. You already know. I got Jonah first with some MLB, and we're going all-time Cubs. So rank them for what they did for the Cubs.
Okay,
right here. Yep. So first we got Anthony Rizzo. He won a championship.
Yeah. I mean, he led the Cubs.
What do you think?
Great.
What right here?
I'm gonna put him at 3.
Okay. We got Ron Santo.
Ron Santo. I mean, I'm gonna put him at 4. I believe Rizzo, modern day baseball is harder than back in the day. And yes, maybe the numbers show different, but I believe Rizzo is a better player, and I believe he adds to the team more so than Ron Santo.
Okay, we got Ernie Banks.
Number 1. I mean, as
He's
I said,
Mr. Cub.
Mr. Cub, even though I said the game's harder today, I still believe he's a great player. He is a great leader.
Chris Bryant, are you going to put him at 2 or 5?
Chris Bryant
He
at
won
5.
a champ. He
Chris
won a
Bryant
champ.
at 5.
All right, and then last but not least, Ryan Sandberg.
I like that. I really do. At number 1, we have Ernie Banks, Ryan Sandberg, Anthony Rizzo, Ron Santo, Chris Bryant. I would switch Ron Santo and Chris Bryant, but I like that. I have one for you. It's NBA. Anthony Edwards.
Like, what is this about? Is this like young players or just like
This is just
straight out?
everyone.
I'm gonna go 4.
4.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry.
2.
LaMelo Ball.
5.
LeBron James.
Right now or like all time? Like
All time.
1.
And Karl Anthony Towns at your 2.
No, he's at 3.
Or at 3.
Yep. Honestly, that
So
ain't
when
that
you
ain't
have-
bad. Bro.
At 1, you have LeBron, Stephen Curry, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and LaMelo Ball.
Okay, actually, that's really bad. I would want Ant and LaMelo over Cat. I hate Cat. Cat is a bum, and I hate him. So I would rather have Ant. And LaMelo. They're both younger and they're both better. So kind of mess up there, but all time I'd feel like Cat. He's played more. He's more experienced. I'd take that. That ain't bad. All right, I got one more for you. We got some soccer. So
Okay.
we're gonna go with first Messi.
1.
What are we doing at Messi? Okay, Messi won.
He's the GOAT, best player of all time. He proved it in the World Cup this year.
Okay,
And if you disagree, I don't know.
where's Neymar then? Where's Neymar?
Neymar.
Yep.
Let's put him at
This
4.
is just like
4.
right now.
4.
Okay. Where's Holland?
Holland.
Yep.
5.
Manchester. He's at 5. He broke the record for goals, man.
Yes, but I do believe he hasn't proved himself as much as Neymar has in the World Cup. In the
Okay. Where's
know,
Ronaldo then? Where's Ronaldo?
Ronaldo. 3.
3?
Yes,
Who's better than Ronaldo?
I have someone in mind.
Who is it?
No,
No, who is
You
it? I
tell
already
me.
wrote it down.
No.
So who is it?
Mbappe.
Yeah, and I wrote down Mbappe. Mbappe. So you have Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Neymar, and
Holland.
Dude,
I'd
that's
switch.
kinda-
I wouldn't switch anyone, but
I think
someone
Ronaldo's
could switch.
better. Ronaldo's better than Mbappe right now. Like not right,
Right
now.
now?
Not right now. I'm saying
or
like
overall?
Overall.
Well, let's look at their rookie season goals. So
Dude, it's Ronaldo. He's played like
Mbappe
50,000
rookie
seasons.
season stats. So Mbappe in his first season played 43 games and scored 39 goals. That almost matches it. Okay. Now let's look at. So he scored 39 goals, 43 games. Now let's look at Ronaldo.
He also
43,
played for
39.
PSG. So
43, 39. So, in his first season, Ronaldo scored.
that's the
In his first season, he scored 6 goals in 40 games. Yes. You can't.
It's also PSG. So like Mbappe's.
Yes, but he
Not playing
played. He
competition.
played for great Ronaldo.
I
played
just
for
don't.
great
I
teams.
don't agree with that
Okay.
at all.
I have
But-
an NFL one for you.
Okay.
Okay. Josh Allen.
Is this just okay?
It's QBs.
QBs. 3,
Patrick Mahomes.
1,
Dak Prescott.
5.
Anthony Richard.
4.
And at your 2 spot, you have Will Levis.
Dude, nah, that's messed up. I thought you were gonna go with like Joe Burrow or something. I should have put Dak at 4. It still would have been messed up.
All right. Now we're gonna do to finish this podcast off. We're gonna do our hot takes. Thomas, let's start with our NFL hot takes. What's your NFL hot take?
I actually don't have an NFL, but I have some college football.
College football.
So earlier we were talking about the rankings. You know, you got Alabama. I think they could lose 3 games this year. I see 3 losses in their schedule, and I believe that because they might not be as ready with Bryce Young. They still have that QB. They still have to figure that out. They have to play Texas. They have to play Ole Miss, tough. They have to play Texas A&M, tough. Tennessee, tough. LSU, tough. I see 3 losses there.
Yeah.
I don't think their team's gonna be that good this season. They got an easy thing without Georgia, but I see 3 losses, and I believe in 3 losses.
Yeah. My NFL hot take is Will Levis will flop. I believe it's too early to tell, obviously, but these are hot takes. So I just don't believe he will live up to his expectations as the number 2 draft pick, or so we thought. Fell to
Number
the
2
second
draft
round.
pick in the second round.
Yeah, fell to the second round. Should have been number 2, as some people thought. Thomas, do you have a baseball hot take?
I do. So I said the Rangers are going to choke in the playoffs. They got Corey Seager, sure, and Marcus Sturman, and they got Max Scherzer. I think they're going to flop. They got big money. They've spent big money.
New team too.
New team. It's the first time in playoffs for them, and I don't believe that I think they're going to flop. They're going to lose their first series. They might get out of the wild card. They might get that divisional, but they're not going to win the World Series, and I totally believe in that.
I believe the Dodgers will not win the World Series either. I mean, they lost many of their great players. Max Turner, they lost Turner.
Yeah.
Justin Turner. They lost Justin, the third baseman.
Yeah, Justin Turner.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah, that's Justin Turner.
Who was their fast guy they had? Who's on the Phillies now?
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner. So they lost Justin Turner and Trey Turner. They have also they got Kike Hernandez back.
He doesn't make up.
He doesn't make up for Trey Turner or Justin Turner. They lost Cody Bellinger. They have Clayton Kershaw. My fault. My apologies. They have some great pitching, but I just don't believe they have what it takes offensively and defensively, not including the bullpen and rotation, to make it past the NLCS or the NLDS.
I agree with you. So, last but not least, I got an NBA hot take right here, and it's gonna be Lakers and Celtics. They're gonna make the championship, and I got the Celtics winning 6. Lakers, they got Gabe Vincent. They got some dudes in the offseason. They got Jackson Hayes. They got Cam Reddish. They built depth, and they needed depth. So they have D'Angelo Russell. They have LeBron James. They have Anthony Davis, Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura. They are built for success. And then we got the Celtics. They made a trade. They got Porzingis. They got Porzingis, and he's going to be good. So that big 3 with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Porzingis, they're going to be good, and I believe that they can win the championship this year really easy because I'm a Boston Celtics fan. So.
Yes. My NBA hot take, last hot take to wrap this up, is the NBA Suns. The Suns will do horrible this season compared to their past seasons.
Are they going to make a playoff run, though?
Yes, but not a playoff run.
They're gonna
first round exit. First round exit.
They got Bradley Beal, though. They got Durant and Booker, so I don't...
I mean, yes, they got Durant, and people are going to say this is a horrible hot take, but they just aren't, I believe, going to play up to the standards that people are putting.
So they're going to flop like Brooklyn, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I see. That's good. That's good hot take.
That's the end of the podcast, guys.
That's comment. We got an hour in, baby.
Yeah. Hour 3 minutes.
Comment what you want us to talk about, and comment what games. Do you like the blind rankings? Do you like the hot takes? Give us like and subscribe. Give us some ideas in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you guys.